I'm going to take a quick look at the other fronts here, because obviously Lebanon has been in the news consistently, particularly since the assassination of Fuad Shukra, who is, by all accounts, including Nasrallah's, the top commander of Hezbollah. And this is the first time we've seen him. We don't see these commanders until they're killed. And you can see the faces blurred out of the next group that haven't been killed. And you can see this is the first footage we've ever seen. This is from Hezbollah, this footage of them battling. Fuad Shukra was a founding commander. He was involved in Islamic Jihad, the pre-Hezbollah formation that was famous for targeting the Israeli military base in Tyre and Sur in South Lebanon in 1981, I believe that one was. In 1983, in 1982 and 83, they wiped out the CIA station. They took out the Marine barracks in Beirut. You can see him there with Nasrallah. You can see him down there in Hezbollah's tunnel system. You can see him speaking to his fighters. And Nasrallah talked about him twice this week in speeches and said that he was always the commander. He was the founding commander, that he was always involved in the most important operations. They put Nasrallah put him in the same category as Imad Mughniya and Mustafa Badruddin, who are the two previous commanders that people knew almost nothing about until they were assassinated. And then this is showing us here, Nasrallah credits Shukra for the long-range and precision missile-guided systems, rocket artillery, and missile systems that are what are threatened on Israel. Israel expects, according to their intelligence estimates, that 3,000 rockets a day is how the war would start with Hezbollah. 3,000 rockets a day with an arsenal of more than 150,000 rockets and precision-guided munitions that can hit all over Israel with precision. So that was interesting. That's the first ever video that we've seen of Fuad Shukra. So I wanted to just show you that. And also this week, number 20, Hezbollah released their 300 Days mixtape, which they do. I don't know if we have volume in this one, but it's the volume is a part of these. You can hear it a little bit. In any case, it's part of the production value of these Hezbollah videos. You can see the days counting in the bottom right-hand corner and various different attacks that have been carried out over that time. 2,500 operations have been carried out. And then there's a voiceover on this that has Fuad Shukra saying to his men, man your posts and be at the ready, essentially. Remain at your base, stay in your military uniform, and keep your weapons in your hand. And then it's Nasrallah saying his famous line, between us and you are the battlefields, the nights, and the days, which is the threat. When will they respond? That's Nasrallah's response to that. So we're seeing here in these operations part of the litany of operations. I'll just give you some of them. 1,050 settlement units targeted, 180 command and control posts, 450 technical equipment. That's when they blow up the Iron Dome radars, and these radars that you're seeing, those are anti-drone operations. They said 160 air defense operations, targeting 125 military vehicles. That's mostly armored vehicles, tanks, troop carriers, a lot of Jeeps. We've seen a number of Jeeps. There's been attacks on 61 artillery posts, 12 Iron Dome systems. They've downed 6 drones, 3 Hermes 900, 3 Hermes 450s in the 300 days. So Hezbollah has been busy this week with the psychological operations, and then that's the red for revenge that they were putting up. We've seen the red flag be flown in Tehran, and Nasrallah gave the speeches this week for Shukra with this red background that's being interpreted as that the response is coming. And Nasrallah said that there will be a response, and it's coming. So also this week, Hezbollah released these videos. This is a Burkhan heavy rocket fired here. That you can see this is from a week and a half ago. This is one of 1,000 rocket operations that have fired more than 7,500 rockets, according to the IDF. There's also been, we're going to see here coming up, an anti-tank guided missile strike from their Tufan missile system, they call. This is a reverse engineered of the U.S. 𝐓𝐿 anti-tank guided missile system. So multiple reverse engineered systems that Hezbollah has been using to great effect during this war. So this is one of 750 anti-tank guided missile operations that have been carried out against these settlement positions that are abandoned. There's more than 40 abandoned settlements in the north that have been abandoned by the Israelis. They just announced this week that there's not going back to school in northern Israel in the fall. This is the 𝐓𝐿 system that I was talking about that you can see being used there. That's the reverse engineered, Iran reverse engineered the U.S. 𝐓𝐿 system. The Hezbollah calls it the Tufan system. So we've been seeing this all week. And again, Nasrallah in his speech this week pointed out that there's chemical factories worth $31 billion, technology factories worth $76 billion, power plants worth $9 billion, food factories worth $12 billion. And he said, Nasrallah said, these factories took 34 years to build and can be destroyed in half an hour. And Hezbollah has been striking deeper inside of Israel in response to the assassinations of their fighters on the ground. But Nasrallah has said these are not the response for Fuad Shukra, and that when the response for Shukra happens, we will all know it. And these are not those operations. So number 22 here is Ansar Allah doing their thing, downing another MQ-9 Reaper drone, $35+ million drone downed over Sada governorate in Yemen just a couple days ago. This is the 10th Reaper, U.S. Reaper drone, United States Air Force MQ-9 Reaper drone downed by the Yemenis since 2017. And the 10th since 2017, and the 7th since the battle in the Red Sea began in solidarity with Gaza. We'll remember back in May, they got 3 in 3 weeks. And you can see the missile system is still intact on this one. And if we remember the previous one we showed, I showed you on the show, it looked like the Reaper drone was downed maybe by electronic warfare because it wasn't blown up. It was only it was a crash landing. Electronic warfare jamming is the suspect for that one. Yemeni armed forces using electronic warfare to bring that down. In any case, they have all the pieces, articulated pieces of the MQ-9 Reaper drone, which will surely end up in Iran. And you can see there the missile systems, the Hellfire missiles and the JDAM kits on a 500-pound bomb. And those are going to end up in Iran and be reverse engineered. And when we're reporting on the next war, I'll tell you about that in the same way that I talked about the Almas anti-tank guided missile system that came from the Hezbollah capturing the 𝐓𝐡𝐞 system in South Lebanon during the July war in 2006. So these Yemenis are standing on this, and the dialogue is essentially them standing on this, saying that the pride of U.S. manufacturing is under our feet. And as you can see, they're celebrating this. Previously, a couple of the drones they burned, but they've stopped doing that. They're now holding them, collecting them, and they know the value of them. We speculated about what kind of missile this is. We believe that these are being taken down by a Yemeni-built, Iranian engineered 358 missile. I've talked about that on previous shows, but Hezbollah cuts out just before they down the Hermes drones, which is a similar class to this MQ-9 Reaper. And we've seen the missiles fired from the ground, but it was dark in the previous Yemeni downings of these drones. But it looked like the consensus seems to be that these are 358, item 358. These were missiles that were have been interdicted before, and parts were found of them. And this is the missile system that the Israelis have been worried about, because they knew that this system could hit their Hermes drones. So the speaker says this plane was downed by the air defenses today of the Yemeni armed forces in the skies of the Sadr government while it was engaged in espionage activities. And also this week, Ansarullah commander Sayed Abdul Malik al Badruddin al Houthi delivered a speech almost immediately over the martyrdom of Ismail Haniyeh and Fuad Shukra. And sent millions of people into the streets on the Friday after that assassination as a response to that the Yemenis have been doing every Friday, but there was a massive demonstration last Friday. So the resistance axis powers are on side, understanding that this is a group battle. And as Nasrallah said, they might respond on their own. Iran might respond on their own. Or it might be all of the resistance axis fronts, the 7 fronts might respond all at the same time. And the psychological warfare of waiting for that is part of the cost, as Nora said, that Nasrallah said. And so the psychological operations are deep. A lot of people in Israel in the north, it's basically a ghost town. People are in their shelters. And there's panic in Israel. And the response, as Helena said, is almost certain to be larger than what we saw the first time when Iran struck, which was kind of a demonstrative test of Israel's air defenses. The Americans are trying to get them to make this one a demonstrative one as well, and rather than a painful one. But we'll see what the response is, because everybody has promised, Iran and Hezbollah has promised, there will be a response for this. So the clock is ticking on that. And that is the resistance report for this week, day 306 of the genocide. The fighting and the fighters are still in their bases as they were on the first day confronting the Israelis.